perseverance is important. Patience is extremely important. Really being creative, the ability to take risks, that's also very important, because sometimes you'll do something that feels countercultural, but it works because you understand the situation so well and you understand the people so well. And you can never give up. You have to know sometimes when you have to take people off separately to try to get a resolution, how you bring in people who may be in your broader network. There's a combination of skills, and timing is crucial. So you might have a really good diplomat stroke negotiator, because I think negotiation skills are crucial as well, but it doesn't work because the timing's not right.
The ability of diplomats to cross those boundaries and those divisions and maintain communications and have a certain level of admiration for the other side is very interesting. And of course that's what makes the maintenance and the management of international relations work within a diplomatic framework. That no matter the other side is your enemy, is your ideological enemy or enemy of your nation, that you can still maintain a dialogue in certain areas is what makes it work.
You have to have a degree of integrity and trustworthiness. You have to be creative. You have to be able to think of ways in which a deal might be done, ways in which you might be able to link one deal to another deal in order to make the negotiation more attractive for others, the resolution more attractive. And then a sort of a sense of good humour and remaining to some degree calm.
I think as well what's really important to them is the feeling that they've actually got the backing of the people they're representing. I've seen a number of times at the OECD diplomats who, particularly if there's been a change of government, in other words they've had a change of master, it's always very tempting to see that foreign affairs just carries on irrespective of who the government is. But I've seen it before where they've got say a new Minister of State or whatever it is that they're representing, that all of a sudden they're just that little bit more uncertain about perhaps what it is that they are now representing. Obviously in international relations we tend to see national interests as very fixed and unmoving. But in actual fact I think a number of diplomats, while they would sort of move towards that national interests are to some extent unchanging, there's always some sort of wiggle room around the edges, and they seem to be very sensitive to that.
There needs to be a balance between knowing when to get involved and when to sort of step back. Knowing when, and that's where I think the politics of it comes in as well, knowing how to sort of portray this so it ultimately, the achievements then become perceived to be achievements, that they're not constantly becoming a sort of political football. So I think those skills, which are I think very, very difficult, sort of knowing the right balance. And I think the other major difficulty, of course, that you have in trying to sort of really establish who is a good and who is a bad diplomat is looking at the underlying realities behind the process as well. There clearly are occasions when it's just easier for leaders to come to agreement. So if you can contrast Carter, and I would say sort of who had the weaknesses of his strengths almost, if you contrast Carter with Reagan in the 1980s, now it's very easy to come up with a glib assumption that Reagan was the opposite. He wasn't a details person, he was very successful. But was he successful because he was a great diplomat and he had some very good people around him, or was he simply successful because of what the chaos that was beginning to unfold in the Soviet Union? And so again, going back to sort of measures of success and failure and what is good, what is bad, I think it's hard to come up with any hard and fast rules. But my own starting point is really this knowing when to get involved and when to step back, when to basically, or how to basically also sell this as a package domestically. We're looking at the moment with Cameron engaged in a number of diplomatic arrangements or interactions with his European partners. Now that process will in large part be, or the success or failure of that will in large part be governed by what the outcome is then subsequently domestically, very obviously in the referendum. So not only is it Cameron's ability to deal with his European partners, but it's also his ability then to come back and create a domestic constituency, and those two things going together I think are a crucial way of ascertaining whether someone's a good or a bad diplomat.